Hello ladies and gentlemen, how you doing today? My name is Bilify and today we are here to counter a glove. Which glove might that be? Why, of course it's the L.O.L.B.O.M. And these are going to be the amazing goobers that are going to be helping us to figure out what counters this new L.O.L.B.O.M glove. We have Klee, Ivan, Sho, fooongwert, and Mewtwo. Thank you so much, you guys are all amazing. Let's go ahead and let's get into this. Alright, so starting off with the basic one, can you run away from them with default and make it away safely? So if you are fighting and you see them start to detonate, if you use the fart blast and get away, yeah, you have plenty of time. This isn't like the best option that you can use, but this is an option that does work for low-end slap counts. All the rocks should be top counters. Diamond, maybe not the top counter that I would suggest, but it does work, even though it does give you a cooldown penalty and a slowdown penalty. I'd highly recommend using either custom or mega rock, but if you are fighting and you see them start to use their ability, just go into rock form until everything is done exploding. Once all the limbs are gone and everything's done exploding, you can go back to fighting and you're good to go. Again, diamond does work, but I would not use diamond as you do get that penalty. Funny enough, I did see this before. Z does counter this. You just so happen to be fighting and they do activate their ability. All you have to do is just go into the sleep form and you might get pushed a little bit on the initial exploding, but once all the limbs are gone, look, you're good to go and you can go right back into fighting. So that initial explosion might push you just a tad bit, but you're not gonna fling away. So Z's works perfectly. Easily a top counter. You can fight fire with fire and throw bombs at them. Space does work, but the problem with space is the 0G ability does take a long time to come back after you first use it, so they can respawn and come and get you. But if you do have that moment where they do use their ability and you jump up in the air, you could definitely avoid it and then come back down. Speedrun can be a top counter because you can just run away from the danger. This is the default fart blast, but permanent. As soon as you see them start to blow up, you can back away from them. You have to have better reaction timing than I just did right there, but as soon as you see that, look at that. If you just back away, you won't be hurt. So even if you're like right next to them fighting, if you just back away immediately, perfectly fine. Yeah, so with how relaxed you can play with this glove, I'm going to give it a top counter. Even though you can still be hit with it, most of the times if you're just low-key paying attention to who has the ability, you can just walk away from this very easily. You should be safe with gold. If they do activate their ability and you activate golden, you're perfectly fine. Not the limbs or nothing is going to hit you while you are in this golden form. Golden should definitely work. The only problem with this glove is indeed the cooldown. By the time they explode and come back, your power-up is only like 25% of the way done. Golden works, but not a top option. How much knockback reduction can Cheeky give? Alright, so if they explode right next to you, oh yeah, not enough to do anything that's anything dangerous. You should be fine if you're in Cheeky form. So even if you're right here, look at this, right back into it. Right back into it. So because you can get into the Cheeky ability very fast, I'm going to give Cheeky a gold counter here. Are replica clones affected by the explosions? Nope. Clones are not affected by the explosions, so you can send in a clone to do all of your business against them if you need to. But not a top counter because your replica clone can go attack some random other person instead of the person that is using this glove going after you. I don't think reverse is going to work here, mostly because there's nothing to reverse. Oh, it does save you from the explosions. Honestly, didn't see that coming. So I'm going to give reverse a 75% counter because it's really good, but they can still have the possibility of getting back into the game and your cooldown only being like halfway done or something like that. So reverse is very good, but not a top counter. So the L.O.L.B.O.M actually sort of counters the Woah glove here. As soon as you use your ability, you can't be hit by the Woah shockwave or even targeted by the Shukuchi glove. Alright, so if they are coming after you and they activate their ability, you actually can't use your Shukuchi ability on that person. Balloony can be good. While using the Balloony glove, I always recommend to have 2 balloons active at a time just so you can always evade when you need to, but as soon as you see that all the limbs are done, you can always hop back down and continue fighting. But as soon as you see them use their ability, just go up in the air and you're fine. Even if you do get hit, look, just go right back into the arena. It's that simple. You should never really die with this glove, even if you do get hit with that blast, because you can always just stay up in the air, or okay, let me rephrase. You might die if your balloons do that. I don't know if I'm going to list this as a top counter right now, but it is a good one. The Excavator glove can work to escape. If they use their ability, all you have to do is use yours and go right underneath the ground. I would try to get out as soon as possible, just due to the fact that your cooldown is much longer. So this would only be the 50-50 glove. By the time he spawned in, it was only at the G in the dig part. So you would definitely have to watch the cooldown of this glove, but if you use it when they use it, you can definitely avoid it. Do you have enough time with Grapple to escape? Do you have enough time to use this to escape? You absolutely do. Let's say you're near the edge of the map. If they use their ability and you use it backwards, yeah, you can avoid it that way as well. So Grapple will be a very good option. I wouldn't call this a top counter, but it is a very good one. What happens if you're in a cloud and they manage to explode? If you somehow are next to them when they explode, if you're in a cloud, it's not going to hit you out of it. If they are behind you, you're fine. Even if they explode, you're fine. So even if somebody hops in the cloud, they'd have to slap you out for it to really count. So clouds are good. Does the parry dash work well enough to get away from the bomb explosion? So if you're fighting and they use the ability, oh yeah. Yeah, the parry dash works great for that. And you get your ability back much faster than they get theirs back. So yeah, parry dash works very well here. Parry will be a top counter. Jebaiteed's good. It's not a top counter. This is just something that will keep you safe. If you end up getting hit with the explosion and flying off the side of the map, it'll bring you back to where you initially started the Jebaiteed illusion. So Jebaiteed works, but this isn't a top counter. Does the hand of Slapstick get affected by the explosions? Nope. The hand of this does not get affected by explosions, so this could be a very good option for you, because you can fight them at distance and keep them at bay. Can they activate their ability during God's Hand's time stop? Ah, so the user can reset right now. Okay, so God's Hand's time stop isn't a counter at the moment. What happens with Titan? The explosion just makes you fall over, so this could be a hindrance for a Titan to run out their time, but it's not really something you're gonna have to worry about, to be real with you. So again, it doesn't drag down the time, it just wastes their time. So in a sense, it does do the exact same thing, but nothing real crazy to a Titan. So Titan does counter here. Acrobat is exactly like the default glove. The phase glove should be really good here, you just have to watch the cooldown with it. Alright, so they use it and you use it, you're perfectly fine. But again, the one thing with this is you have about half of your cooldown remaining by the time they get back. Jupiter should be really good in this scenario. You wouldn't even have to worry. Even if they explode right next to you, you're fine. You're perfectly fine. You're not going that far with this knockback. Maybe the only thing you'd have to worry about is a rock being there. But if it's just the normal explosion, you're not going to go very far with this. So you can continue to keep slapping them and fighting them. I'm going to say maybe 75%, maybe even a little bit above that, but not a top counter. Hybrid might be a top counter because it does have Jupiter involved in it with the yellow, but you also do have 3 other abilities with it. So Jupiter's very, very good. Are you safe in a Slapple tree? All right. So far, it looked good. Try it again. Ooh, they can get you with the jump. Okay, so Slap will be 50-50. What happens if you're on top of Larry? You're fine. You're perfectly fine with Larry. Oh, Larry's T-posing. I can't move Larry. I can't move Larry. It like redirects Larry, and with so many explosions, it can like bug him out, but most of the time, you're perfectly fine on top of Larry. You don't even have to worry about their explosions. You can use the charge glove to run away from an exploding person, but the problem with this is it has a long cooldown, so this is only going to be 50-50. It has a very long cooldown. Fish is going to be a top counter here. Even if you do get hit, just flop right back into the arena. You're perfectly fine, and by the time they get back, you have your ability back, so you're good to go. Even if you get hit here and flop back into the explosions, I think most of the time you're good. You won't be able to have a second flop, but you'll always have it by the time they get back themselves. So I would just flop in another direction from where their body parts are, and you're good to go. Any combos with Voodoo? Alright, so... Oh, interesting. Oh! That's a cool way to do it! Oh my gosh, you can have a Voodoo combo where you slap your friend with it, and if somebody goes up to blow up the doll, they can blow up themselves. Now, it doesn't shatter the doll at first. The doll just kind of falls apart, so it doesn't explode at first, but the limbs themselves actually explode. So that's how you can do it with your friends in that way. How well does Recall work? Alright, so you're in the middle of fighting. They activate their ability. If I use mine, I could definitely get out of there. The big thing with this is the ability cooldown. It is quite a large one, so by the time they spawn in and are back, you would have maybe 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds before you get your ability back. So Rob can protect you in this scenario, but the problem with Rob is the cooldown. Alright, so if you're fighting and they use their ability, if you go into this Rob form, you can't be hit by explosions. So you could walk around, and if you end up eating somebody, it makes it a lot worse. But by the time you're out, you have about 2 to 3 seconds that you have to wait for your ability to actually work again. This isn't something that I'm going to go for, as it does take a long time for your cooldown. And you cannot eat somebody if they are about to explode. Rhythm is the same as Speedrun, maybe a little bit less speed, but it does have the yellow shockwaves, so I don't know if I'm going to label this a top counter, but it's good. You should be fully safe with the Alchemist once you get the Invincible Potion down. All you need for the Invincible Potion is a mushroom and some of this elderwood that you see there. Once you have those, drop your cauldron down, select 2 mushrooms and then 1 elderwood, click the ladle, and you now have yourself an Invincible Potion. After drinking that, if they do explode on you, you should be perfectly fine. None of the rings or anything will affect you. So, Alchemist is gonna get a W here. Druid can work to keep them at distance, but this is probably only gonna be like 50-50, maybe a little bit above, because this won't get them if they've started their ability. So if they're coming after you, definitely throw the vines and catch them before they start their ability. By the time that they get out of it, your wild vines will be pretty much halfway done, so you'd have to watch that. But you can always keep them away from you with this. And if they see you starting to use the ability, they're probably gonna start at their ability, so this will give you enough time to clear some distance between the two of you. So as long as you're using Druid correctly and not recklessly, you can stay safe with this all the time. Not a top counter, but a very good one. If you're using Santa and you go in the gift sack, can you be safe? You can stay safe from the initial one. And I think that you have enough time with the frames to avoid the second one. So let's say if I go into the frames, I can avoid that, and I don't get hit by the second one. So as long as you time it very well, I think you'll be fine. Yeah, timed right, you can absolutely avoid all of the explosions with Santa. I think with Iceskate, you should be able to outrun them once they start their ability. If you're fighting and you see them start to use their ability, you can use this to kind of run away. I would try to get out of it as fast as possible, as your cooldown is kind of crucial here, but as soon as you see it, just go into that Iceskate form. I wouldn't go towards them. I would definitely, like, if you're fighting and they activate their ability, go in the opposite direction of where they initially started it, and you can pretty much avoid being hit all the time. The flop of admin works exactly like fish, but a little bit worse. So this can work, but I would use fish over admin any day of the week for the flop ability. So what happens if you were to try to get the wand ability going? Alright, so if you are fighting and they use their ability, oh, you can get on wand to avoid that explosion. Oh yeah, 100%. And if you're on top of it, what happens? Okay, you get hit off if you get exploded. So the only time you're safe is during the initial animation, and you do have to watch out for the cooldown because it is quite a long cooldown. So this will be like 50-50. Firework's a good distance glove to fight them at distance, but if they get close to you, this is not gonna help you. So 50-50. And ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it for our counters on this brand new L.O.L.B.O.M glove. Good catch, Gravity. Oh my god. Shout out to all the goobers that you see in on your screen right now. We've got Crafty, Ivan, Gravity, Viewer, fooongwert, Real Showbiz, Mew who just fell, and Carl. They're all amazing. Let me know which counter was your favorite. I think for me personally, my favorite counter might have been the Z glove, just because having something like that and sleeping through bombs is hilarious to me. That's probably gonna be my favorite. But also let me know which counter surprised you the most. I think for me, Z is also gonna take that as well. You wouldn't expect to be able to just slumber right next to an exploding bomb, but I guess you can. It's just so funny to see for me. I want to know what yours are, so be sure to let me know. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that all of you have an amazing rest of your day or night whenever you do end up watching this, and we will see you in the next one. Later!